Today I'm speaking with Rachael Wright-Munn, programmer, live streamer, open source contributor, and voice actress. She recently joined the maintainer team for rubyevents.org, and she'll be delivering her talk, Your First Open Source Contribution, at Blue Ridge Ruby this spring. Rachael, thanks for chatting with me.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited about this talk. So I originally gave this talk all the way back in like RubyConf in like 2022 or something like that. And I love this talk. I got such good feedback. But it was the time slot after lunch, and there were like 20 people in the room. So I am so excited because this is absolutely, like, in my personal opinion, even though I've given other talks, this is the best one that I've ever done. And the purpose and the meaning is like so impactful to me. And the other thing I'm really excited about is to revamp it.
Yeah.
Because when I first did this talk, it was like, I'm sorry, I'm rambling a little bit, but like when I first gave this talk, like the projects that I was working on had like 15 contributors over the lifetime of the project. And I was like, this is great. This is fantastic. Like I'm getting like a PR or so like every week, every other week. Now I'm working on Ruby events, as you mentioned. We had 15 last month and we've had like 43 PRs this month so far. Wow. I am so excited to bring all of the learnings that I've had from then to now and apply all of that throughout the talk.
Oh, that's sweet. Huh. Can you tell me about what that's been like, becoming a maintainer on Ruby events, and kind of what your role is there right now?
Yeah, so I definitely already had some experience. And the terminology that we typically use is like team member instead of necessarily maintainer. But but I had some experience from those prior projects. And so I had some experience like understanding, reviewing PRs, talking to contributors, like figuring out what to do. But it's definitely like been kicked into overdrive with this project. And sometimes it gets a little bit overwhelming with how much we're working on and like making sure that we're handling the priorities. I think one thing I've really been grateful for is being able to kind of like follow Marco's lead in particular with the project and also Adrian's, and kind of like adopt their style of communicating. One of the things that I've really noticed about different projects is that they tend to have very different expectations from contributors. So one of the things that I'll see is like you might have Mastodon where they've actually put in their contributing guide that they're not interested in code anymore, like any code pull requests, submissions like that anymore. Then you'll have
only bug reports
projects,
or something like that.
And issues. Or even testing. And I can understand that perspective, but it's like, it's very different from like Lobsters, for example, where Peter will like go through a PR and make sure that it's stylistically consistent. And so for me, I think I was probably somewhere between Lobsters and Ruby events. On Ruby events, we're really focused on trying to like bring contributions in. We lean heavily towards merging. We're willing to like go in and clean up a PR afterwards if there's issues. And there's a real focus around bringing people in and trying to help them get acclimated with the code base, and just kind of like being really celebratory and high energy and like, please come, we want you, you're welcome here, and like we appreciate your contribution.
That sounds like it's a really good fit for you then, since you are passionate about people getting their first contribution in.
I am very excited about it because I think that contributing to open source has really changed my life in the directory of my career and even how I perceive myself as an engineer.
Okay. That's actually one of my questions. I really wanted to know how has open source contribution like changed your life? Not necessarily even just your work, but like your life in general. Like what's been the impact for you?
I feel a lot more confident and I feel a lot more open. So I think that first one, it's really intimidating because you're going up to somebody that you've never met before. That's a complete and total stranger. And you're like, here is my code to this project that I have no familiarity with. Right. And that I have no idea around like the norms and the expectations. But what I found is that maintainers, they're incredibly receptive to those, like to your PRs and to your contribution. Because if you think about it, like for a maintainer, that project, like that is their life's passion. That's their life's work. Like it takes an enormous amount of energy. And so from that maintainer side, I feel so grateful and so excited when I see that somebody has like opened a PR because they're just contributing to and being part of the project that I love and that I care about. And so recognizing that as a contributor and saying like, I'm helping their project. I'm being part of this. Like I'm contributing to it.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel so much more confident, so much more open, and so much more willing. Like over on Ruby events, we recently had this issue where like, so I use nominatim because one of the things I try and do on the team is as much as possible use the contributor thing. And Marco uses Google Maps when we're doing geocoding, right?
Okay.
Because frankly, Google Maps is better.
Uh-huh.
So, but what we found out is that there are actually a few methods that exist for the Google Maps result that don't exist for nominatim. And so
what is
what I was
nominatim?
able to do,
Is it like another geocoding tool?
OpenStreetMaps. So
okay.
Geocoder works with all of the different...
Yeah, right. The geocoder gem.
Exactly.
Right, and use okay, got it.
Got it. So nominatim is the one that's connects with OpenStreetMaps.
Got it. Okay.
And that one doesn't require an API key, which is why we use it for contributors.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So, you know, in the past, I might have tried to find ways to work around this. I might have tried to be like, oh, you know, can I fix this here? Can I like try and assemble these pieces of data? But I just confidently opened a PR up on Geocoder, adding a new method to be like, this is the method that the Google Maps one has that the nominatim wasn't, and it got merged. And so now we're just using the main branch of Geocoder until it gets released. And the thing is, I would not have had that confidence in my abilities. I wouldn't have had the knowledge and comfort with contributing to open source. And to be frank, I feel like if I had solved that at my own localized position, like in the Ruby Events repo, then that wouldn't affect the rest of the community. Because the thing is, when we're talking about open source, what we're really talking about is we're talking about collective action, and we're talking about building things to make everybody's lives better and improve everybody's experience across the ecosystem.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Can you remember your first open source contribution?
Yes.
What was it?
It did not merge.
Oh,
and it's in the talk.
All right.
So,
well, we don't have to plot spoil if you don't want to.
I would love to plot spoil because I want
right.
as many people to learn about open source as possible.
Cool.
And I want
All
as
right.
many people to like learn the things that I've learned. So my very first PR that I ever did was a Wikipedia entry for a Minecraft mod where I think they were describing how to do cow in a jar, and instead they had the recipe for a shelf. It was like a one-line change.
Yeah.
I made the forked repo and everything. I put it up there, never merged.
Dang. Not even a comment or like a reason why? No? Okay.
Nothing. Yeah. But it was worth it because I learned how to work with forked repositories. I learned how to generate PRs. And that took some time. I think my first one failed. I think it took me 2 tries to open a PR on the other repository instead of mine.
Yeah.
But like I learned all that stuff. And so like the second time I went to go contribute to open source, I was a lot more comfortable with it and I was ready for it.
I'm curious, do you feel like the first time contributing to open source was more intimidating than live streaming? Because live streaming also feels like a very intimidating thing. I'm curious like how you compare the two if you're a beginner.
Ooh. Oh, that's a great question. It's hard for me to say. So my very first live stream, I brought a friend along with me to act as my moderator.
Yeah.
And I would say that if you're doing an open source contribution, that might be a way to make it a little bit easier, right? Like, like y'all are doing a hack day at Blue Ridge Ruby, right?
Yeah.
So like that gives contributors the opportunity to kind of meet maintainers before it's actually time for them to make their contribution.
Yeah.
So in that way, you can make your friend in the repo.
Yeah.
Either that, or you could find somebody who's already like comfortable and confident with it. I'm going to take a note. I'm putting that in the talk.
Nice. I like it. Well, I like to notice that these two things that you do are often considered very intimidating things. The things that expose you, make you vulnerable, potentially you'll be making mistakes potentially in public in both cases. And once you've been maybe doing it for a long time, maybe you don't worry about that so much anymore. But at least initially, there's a lot of uncertainty about like, am I going to look dumb when I try to do this thing?
Absolutely.
Huh.
I am a very, very anxious person, and everything is scary to me.
Yeah.
So to me, it was like, streaming, scary. But because of that, I have a lot of practice pushing through the fear.
Yeah.
And I think that both streaming and contributing to open source have drastically reduced my fear of looking stupid in public.
Yeah. Yeah. You've increased your capacity for handling the discomfort that comes with that vulnerability. And you've built up a lot of history in terms of things that have gone well, probably. Things where like you shared something and had good feedback, or you have had all these, you know, contributions merged, or live streams that went well and people that gave you good feedback. And then it makes it a little easier to maybe have like occasional things that don't go so well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
cool.
Absolutely. 100%. And that's a beautiful way to put it too.
You've worked in a lot of different open source projects now over the years. What has drawn you to the particular projects that you work in?
Oh, that's such a great question. Okay, so the first thing I look for is it Ruby or Rails? I've got a couple that like aren't that, like some Rust, some Python, stuff like that. But I try to make sure that I'm familiar with the stack. Okay. And I will say one of the superpowers of Rails is those conventions, because it means that I can hop into a completely unknown code base and like find my way around. The other thing I look for is kind of like the purpose of it. So I love contributing to Ruby for Good. They're very welcoming. They're focused on onboarding new contributors and being welcoming to new contributors. And also what they do is they build Rails apps for charitable purposes. So like one of them is Human Essentials, which handles diaper banks and menstrual supplies and making sure that people can get those.
That's cool.
One of them is CASA, which is court-appointed special advocates. So they have these court-appointed special advocates for the foster care system, which basically like help manage their case. That's one of my favorite projects, actually, cool. Partially because of the project leadership and because it's just a really well-designed, slim, clean app.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I also kind of look for... and again, Ruby Events, what drew me to that one was the fact that its purpose was very similar to like the things that I care about indexing Ruby events, building communities, and like bringing people together around in-person and virtual events. So like all of that interested me in it. But the other thing that I start to kind of look at is what makes a repository a good fit for me. So what I might do is I might look at some of the issues, some of the pull requests. In particular, if you look at merged pull requests, you can kind of figure out like how they approach contributions, what sort of contributions they're looking for, what sort of contributions get merged, and what the feedback looks like as you're going through it.
That's cool. Yeah.
But a lot of what I do is scratching my own itch too. Like for that first one, it's definitely like, can I find something that aligns and is welcoming to new contributors? But after that, it's been like, I need this in Geocoder. Right now I'm looking at Mini Test Reporter because I want to get like some GitHub Actions reporting for our mini test suite. So GitHub Actions has these annotations, and like I would like to show those annotations in my mini test output, right?
Yeah.
And so like I'm looking into that. I think at one point I found out that the comparison validator was the only validator that didn't check against like comparison validates of, or I don't remember what the exact thing is, but there's like a Rubocop rule that relates to validators, and the comparison one wasn't included. So I just went to that particular RSpec engine and I fixed it, right? And so
that's cool.
I think a lot of what I do as an engineer is I find the right place to fix things. And I think a lot of times when we're thinking about the right place to fix things, we forget about upstream.
Upstreaming, yeah. Or I feel like I'm too busy to upstream this. I've been there. And maybe part of that is the intimidation that like comes from like it's going to take a long time, or what worked for me may not be universal or might be nitpicked or something like that too. How have you pushed through that in the past?
Endurance and accepting the fact that maybe it doesn't get merged. Maybe you go through that. Maybe you make the PR and it doesn't get merged. But what you come out of that with is a better understanding of how that project works.
Yeah.
The other thing that I strongly recommend is after you find like a good project that you want to work on, pick like a really small issue to fix. This doesn't work for like scratch your own itch, like upstreaming sort of stuff. But like if there's a small issue that you can work on, that can really help you figure out how they treat contributors, what that process is going to look like, the level of feedback you're going to get, and the detail of feedback that you're going to get, and that sort of stuff. Like, what is it? I like bringing this up, and I don't do it to rag on the project. I do it to say it happens to all of us, right? I found a good first issue with Mastodon that was literally like, change this setting, move it from this place to this place. That PR sat for years without being merged. It, like, literally, I would be telling you, I have a PR on Mastodon that's never been merged. If it hadn't been merged like a few months back.
Yeah.
But, like, that's the thing is, like, it happens to all of us. Like, sometimes you just don't get feedback. And that might have nothing to do with you or your PR. It might just have to do with what's going on with the maintainers.
Yeah.
And some of them are nitpickier than others. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's okay because it is a sliding scale of how you want to handle and manage contributions as a maintainer. Because the thing is, you want to make sure that whatever is going into your code base is good, is solid, and it isn't going to cause issues or conflict with anything else that you have. And a lot of times you're kind of like, you have this PR, and there's this other thing just like right here that's right next to your PR. Yeah. If you could just fix that at the same time, that'd be great.
Right. Yeah.
There's a lot of temptation to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you feel like now that you're like on like rubyevents.org team, like the team there, that's changed your understanding of how contributions should be made or what's like most beneficial? Has that like shifted anything for you?
Well, like I said, I was already like getting contributions. What really changed is the scale of them.
Okay.
And so I think I understand much better how maintainers can feel like they're underwater.
Yeah.
How they're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of understand like why Mastodon might say like, hey, we have our priorities and things that we're trying to get through.
Yeah.
So we're going to say, please no code.
Yeah.
That's not where I'm at. I'm not in that boat. Just to be clear, Ruby Events would like your code contributions.
Yeah.
But Ruby Events would really, really, really like your content contributions.
Yeah, okay.
And I try to highlight that too when I'm talking to people because I'll have people like at me and be like, please review this. And I'm like, I will review it, I promise. Just, it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to at me for me to review it.
Right, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think also like, again, like following Marco's lead, following Adrian's lead, and like kind of looking at how they interact with contributors has definitely like
it's like it gives you the like the rules of the game. Like it's almost like each project has its own norms and values. Mm-hmm. You come into that and then you can just kind of align yourself to that, and that really guides the process of how to manage contributions, how to like what are we prioritizing here, and that makes sense. And that it seems like that should be different for each project. But then it seems like you've also found a project that kind of also fits your values, like in terms of its current, maybe like its current scale, like the project, that this Ruby Events in particular, its current scale it's at, and the values that have already been there, like have been established there, like fits you well. That's cool.
It's been a really good fit, and it's been amazing so far, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah. Okay, one last question for you. We do have this hack day on Saturday for Blue Ridge Ruby. For people that are interested in open source, haven't really done it, maybe they've been coding for a while, but like the idea of like trying to make contributions or get started on something, what would be a good way to, from your opinion, like what would be a good way to come into that Saturday hack day to get a good outcome, maybe, like in a matter of a few hours, sitting down with a small group at a table somewhere?
Yeah, so in the past, what I've done is I've made sure that I have the project set up in advance, and like that I've gone through the project setup. It's okay if it fails. Yeah. It's okay if like you weren't able to set it up. But if you can get it set up, it's a huge step forward.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the other thing is if you come saying, like, I tried project setup and it didn't work, that's what you work on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's
like,
cool.
that's what you improve. So, yeah, that's my first suggestion. You can come with an idea of what you want to work on. You can look through the issues to find something. For Ruby Events in particular, I really love content PRs, and those are a great way to get something done in, like, just a couple of hours.
Can you describe what content PR is? Like, what's...
Oh, yeah. So Ruby Events stores all of our data in these YAML files for the events. The reason that we do this is projects like ours sometimes spin up, live for a while, and then disappear. Mm-hmm. If we take all of those events and we store them in YAML files, not only is it possible for anybody to edit them and for us to have a clear review of them, but it also means that this exists as a record, a historical record for the Ruby community for basically the rest of time going forward.
Rather than in a Postgres database that no one else can see. Okay.
Exactly. A Postgres database that would go down if the server went down, right?
Yeah.
Like at this point, I think we have over 100 plus contributors, which means there are 100 plus copies of the Ruby events code base and the events that have happened in the Ruby community. So when I talk about a content PR, I talk about finding one of these events, updating the data in it, adding videos for it, adding things like the schedule, adding things like the speakers. We do like visual assets. So we do like these really pretty assets that are kind of like, they give you a feel for like the vibe of the event.
Yeah.
And so that's what a content PR would be.
Cool.
What I've done and what I've spent I think it was like right after I joined, is I went through and I updated all of the documentation and guides for content. So they're all like adding schedules, adding events, adding sponsors. And my current work on the project that like I'm trying to do is building out Rails generators in order to keep that data consistent and to actually build out the YAML files.
That's cool. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I've definitely done a few PRs there, like content PRs for Blue Ridge. So that's awesome.
My favorite. When we have like an actual organizer of an event come in and like those are my favorite ones to merge.
Yeah.
Like, it'll have me grinning all day.
That's cool. That's cool. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to see this talk. I'm excited to hang out with you and all the other speakers and attendees at Blue Ridge coming here April 30th, May 1st. Rachel, thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, everybody. Come to Blue Ridge. It's my birthday on May 1st. Come see me on my birthday.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah.